Hi, I'm Angie Borras with Houses in San Antonio, and I'm accompanied today by Heather Tesmer of the Tesmer Law Firm. Thank you, Heather, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
We'll be discussing real estate transactions and how divorce impacts them. In your opinion, Heather, what's the biggest challenge most folks that are divorcing encounter when there's real estate involved?
Well, most divorcing couples have one large piece of real estate, and that's their home. This home needs to be sold because neither one of them can afford to pay for the house themselves, nor can they afford to buy the other party out.
And just out of curiosity, what's one of the most recurring reasons you are seeing for divorce?
We see a lot of people reconnecting with older girlfriends or boyfriends on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and reconnecting with their old boyfriends or girlfriends.
So the girl that you left behind kind of syndrome.
Yes, exactly.
Very romantic.
Yes.
Eek. Ay, ay, ay. And what can they do to be more proactive in disposing of real estate during a divorce?
Well, Bexar County in particular has a standing order. So there are certain things that you can and you cannot do. But if you both the parties agree, you can get a lot of things done. Like the house can be put up for sale while the divorce is pending. But we usually put into our divorce decrees, though, that they can go ahead and be divorced without actually having the sale go through.
During a divorce, the likelihood of moving is high. Can a person that is in the midst of divorce buy real estate property without legally acquiring property for the person they're divorcing?
It's very difficult to do so. I would recommend that you wait, because until you're divorced, you're still married. So that means that if you bought another piece of property, it would be community property that would need to be disposed of by the final decree.
Because I have come across folks that are just anxious to go ahead and buy another piece of property, so they've gone to their attorneys for some sort of waiver to purchase.
It's not something that I would recommend.
Okay.
No.
Does it become sticky with the judge?
And with the titles, I mean, because you've got community property, going through the closing would be, you have a spouse, so you have to get the spouse to sign off on a lot of the documents, even though their name may not be on the property. So it's not so much the judge I would worry about, it's more just that the title, the community property versus your separate property. So we would say don't do it until you're divorced.
I see. Is it wise to try and hide your real estate assets?
Never a good idea to do that, because you're going to get caught.
How? No.
We'll talk later.
Do you recommend the use of real estate agents if having to sell the property during a divorce?
Always. Just like I wouldn't recommend you go through a divorce without an attorney, I would not recommend that you buy or sell a home without a real estate agent.
Thank you. Do attorneys get involved with the mitigation of real estate losses during divorces?
We try. I mean, we do everything we can, and as long as we're having an agreed divorce, we can come up with as many creative ideas as we can. Unfortunately, it's when you go to a final hearing and you're in front of a judge that the judge takes the easy way out and says, sell everything and split the proceeds. But until we get to a final hearing, we can actually come up with different ideas on how to separate the property without and mitigate the losses that might happen if you had to actually sell the property.
Okay. And what factors are considered when attorneys are negotiating a house buyout during divorce?
One of the big things that we talk about are what the closing costs would have been if they had to sell it. And a rule of thumb basically is that 10%. So if the house is valued at $200,000, you would take 20% or 10% off of that, so it'd be $20,000, and then that would be the split on the equity. So I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
It does.
Okay.
It does to me.
So the 180 is left. Let's say there's 80,000 in equity, so you would split the 80,000. So each would take 40,000 in equity out of the house. So just because the house is worth $200,000 doesn't mean that you're going to get that much in a buyout, because there are other things to factor in.
Wonderful. And are there any other professionals' guidance you recommend of your client during a divorce?
Definitely. Most lawyers don't give tax advice, so I would definitely say that you need to speak with your CPA about any tax consequences that might come from selling your home or doing the buyout.
Okay. And Heather, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yes. I have to tell everyone, please consult with your professionals. Don't Google and rely on stuff that you get off of the internet. You really need to consult with your attorney, consult with your real estate agent, and consult with your CPA. It's very important that you get the correct information in this time.
And experience does matter, doesn't it?
It really does.
17 years experience over there, almost 20 over here. We got your professionals down, huh? What sets the team at Tesmer Law Firm apart from others?
Well, again, we're all females. We have our core values, and our very first core value is families first. So we always, even though we divorce you, we also put your family first and consider your children and your well-being before anything else.
Do you offer free consultations?
We do in some cases, but if it's a divorce consultation, we do charge a very reduced rate of $50 for a 30-minute consultation.
That sounds extremely reasonable for a professional of 17 years. How can our audience reach you?
We have a wonderful website. It's www.tesmerlawfirm.com. Our phone number is 210-368-9708. And we are also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Wow, all those. Yes. Social media. How wonderful is that? Well, thank you for joining us today, Heather. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you for connecting with our audience. And again, if you're looking to get a divorce and you own real estate, please call us. We are your expert team. Boom.